For many students, high test scores are the only path to a debt-free college education. Dr. Valencia Bell recognized that underserved communities were largely locked out of this opportunity because they lacked access to effective test prep. Fixing that gap became her foundational mission. But a passionate insight eventually hits the wall of reality. Clients have questions you didn't anticipate, and early results might be uneven. To survive these setbacks, a founder has to suppress the urge to be right and instead develop the discipline of coachability, the ability to take harsh feedback and use it to refine the mechanics of the work. Every scalable business moves through a three-stage evolution: identifying an insight, building a manual MVP, and creating a tech system. Without humility, a founder's original vision will never survive the refinements required to become a functional system. To prove her concept actually worked, Dr. Bell entered Phase 1, the manual service. She hired a team of 1,099 contract teachers to deliver test prep strictly one-to-one, putting in the grueling, hands-on work to guarantee her students saw real score improvements. Mission-driven founders often worry that charging for their services compromises their values. However, Dr. Bell had to generate revenue to keep her teachers paid and the lights on. Financial sustainability is what keeps a mission alive long enough to grow. While that manual process produced high-impact results, it eventually hit a hard mathematical wall. You can only work so many hours, and you can only hire so many people before your overhead consumes your impact. Building a manual MVP is a mandatory step to prove market demand, but relying entirely on pure physical labor will eventually choke the scale of the mission. When founders hit that capacity wall, they often look for a technological shortcut. The immediate temptation is to buy an AI tool and hope it magically handles the overflow. Adding technology doesn't fix a business's underlying logic, it amplifies it. If your workflow is an undocumented tangle, an AI tool simply executes that chaos faster. Before applying technology, you must extract the process from your head into a strict, logical sequence on paper. Pause the video right here. Identify the exact gap you want to solve and write down the 3 manual steps to deliver that service. That strict process mapping is the essential operational bridge. It is the single requirement that makes a manual business eligible for technological scale. Once the workflow is entirely codified and proven, you are ready to integrate the tech system. For Dr. Bell, this meant deploying AI to automatically handle customer intake. She then used digital avatars to translate her proven test prep methodology into multiple languages, reaching students across the globe completely simultaneously. AI removed the geographic and linguistic friction from a methodology that had already been validated. The business model remained the same. The technology simply enabled it to cross borders. As a technical system begins to handle the volume, the founder faces a specific structural shift. To manage a system at scale, you have to stop doing the manual execution and redesign your organization to include dedicated technical and operational management roles. Achieving true scale requires the humility to let go of the very manual job you created in the first place. Dr. Bell started by recognizing a specific gap in her local community. Today, she operates a globally scalable, sustainable career. She followed an exact progression: anchor the mission, stay coachable to defeat your ego, monetize a manual MVP, map the process rigidly, and finally, scale with technology. Durable scaling depends on mastering the operational discipline of every stage. AI is the reward for the work that happens long before the first line of code is ever written.
Welcome, everybody, to Startup Founder Best Practices. Glad to have you here. I got a young man on here with me tonight, and we're going to talk a little bit about the summit. It was his first innovation summit and tour, so we're excited about it. How are you doing, Jamad?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on to kind of share some of the stuff. Because you were here Friday night at the reception, and you were here at the event on Saturday. So was that your first time doing something like that?
Yeah, it was my first experience, and it was a good experience for me.
Great. Yeah, just so you all know, Jamad and I met, probably about a month and a half ago, if that long.
Right.
And yeah, he's in our what we call our uh, uh, what do we call it? His ISI program, uh,
Yeah.
yeah, Innovation Skills Initiative, where we try to
Yeah.
help people learn AI skills and help them learn about their career field and prepare them for their career field. And one of the things I loved about Jamad is he was already using AI, and so how since you've been involved with the Kakua Institute, how has using AI changed for you?
Um, I feel like it's changed my broadest perspective on how I maneuver in life. Since I'm just everything about it is it's a cool tool to use.
Okay.
Uh, you know, I personally use Chat GPT, and once I got hip to Chat GPT, I couldn't go back. It was just something new, something fresh.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yeah. Before you got involved with the Kakua Institute, how what were some of the things you were doing with the Chat GPT?
so I'm a junior deacon at my church, and
Okay.
so I use it to study and learn new things about the Bible,
Mm-hmm.
and so I use that as a tool, also. So and I use it to it's kind of like a guidance, kind of like talking to a person that's you know can guide you through life, but it's artificial intelligence instead of a
Yeah.
person.
Right. Right.
So
Well,
it,
it's one thing I can say is Chat GPT knows about the Bible, and it doesn't have to hallucinate about the Bible because it definitely knows about the Bible. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what have you learned about prompting since you've been here? So, like, let's just start. I think this is the best way to kind of get this out. So, you attended our reception here on last Friday night for the Founders Innovation Summit and Tour. So, what was that experience like, and what type of people did you meet?
um, it was a great experience for me personally. I met your wife, Miss Reshard,
Yeah.
and along with met Brian Jackson,
Yep.
met
Yep.
him.
Hmm.
It was a great experience for me personally.
Yeah.
Um,
What
one
did you
thing
think?
I
What happened?
one thing I loved about it was everybody had their own unique uh perspective of how AI works. You know, in terms of their own life and how they pursue it.
Right.
That's the big takeaway I got from it.
Okay. Good. 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 So, what about Saturday at the summit itself?
Saturday, I wasn't able to, I wasn't able to get there, in at the beginning of the at the beginning
Okay.
part, but I was able to, catch a little bit of it, and
Okay.
but
So, you
yeah,
mean are you talking about the coaching session? Are you coachable?
right. Are you coachable? I missed that one. Um,
Okay. Yeah, that was a good one. That was the Fred Robbins. You could have met a two-time Super Bowl champ, and also Aaron Adron Chambers, a World Series champion, and Randy Jackson.
right. Yeah, I was. Yeah, I wasn't able to, to
Okay.
attend that, but with I was able to get the that it's called the AI. I forgot the name of it. But
Yeah, and like it was the one that with Rose Legit about integrating AI into your business, getting your business
right,
for AI.
right. I think that was it. But
Yeah.
it was a good experience for me.
Hmm.
Just to get that experience, and just to see what type of new things that I can do for myself. As I grow, as I and mature in life.
So yeah, so you're not a founder or anything, but the event was in it for anybody who wants to learn about innovation. Yes.
Right, right, right.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So one of the reasons you're on tonight, we had some issues with storing our video in the afternoon session, and so you had film. I mean, had recorded the session where Sabola Frazier was, who's a non-technical founder, was actually demonstrating how to create your own GPT. So and so what happened was, one of the lessons you learned here at the Kahoot Institute was record everything. So I text you and I said, "Did you record it?" And you said yes.
Yeah,
So yeah, so that was really fantastic.
yeah.
So what did you do with those recordings?
So I recorded them through an app called Twin Mind.
Okay.
And Twin Mind, it's an AI recorder, and it on my phone, and so it's on. I just use my phone and put it up, and then it records everybody, or anybody that's speaking,
Right.
you know, and it analyze it, you know, once you finish recording everything, you analyze it, then I go back and put it on the and put it on my Lenitra prompt, and it gives me all my sources that I need, and my verified source, it verifies everything for me. So um that's how uh I use the app.
Yeah. So Jamal is talking about the Lenitra prompt, but basically, so with the Lenitra prompt, he all the recordings he did for the summit, he can analyze those with his Lenitra prompt, and what that means is his Lenitra prompt that's personalized for him. It relates everything um, from the transcripts and finds all the patterns, how that relates to his goals, because the Lenitra prompt has his goals and stuff, uh, and so that's what's unique about it. So it makes the AI work for you. Once the AI learns your goals, it everything you have the Lenitra prompt analyze, it finds those things that help you get towards your goal. Had So did it give you any more insight than what you saw in person?
Um well, when I do the video overview, um yeah, it gives you more insight, it gives you more clarity.
Oh,
um
okay. So it sounds like you saying you actually um, put the transcript into Notebook LM. Is that what you're saying?
right, right.
Okay. Okay.
Basically, it gives you its own perspective, or um it gives you um another avenue that you can take something that you see that you might like, or see that might fit your personality, or
Okay. Okay.
um and,
Yeah.
and how you would go about it, in your life.
Okay. Yeah. And you folks in the audience, feel free to ask questions. Jamad, since you missed the first session, I'm going to show you this the video. Are you coachable? And this is what Jamad is saying. It's based on the transcript Fred Robbins and Adron Chambers and Randy talking. One of the folks wasn't on the panel, wasn't able to make it, but he, since I had some information in the sources about him, it's going to show up. But I'm gonna play that video. Are you coaching? And so let me explain to you just what Jamal is saying. So I took the transcript from that Are You Coachable, and I took all the transcripts we had, and I analyzed them with the Lanicha prompt to extract the value out of them based on the Kakur Institute and the kind of stuff that I'm working on for founders. And then I put both the transcript and the Lanicha results of analyzing the transcript into Notebook LM. And so the ones that Are You Coachable, here it is.
So we live in this wild age of AI, right? It can code, it can design. So what's left for a founder? What's the one trait you absolutely have to have? I'll give you a hint. It's not some killer idea or a fancy degree. What if the real secret sauce is something way more personal? Okay, so get this insight straight from the Founders Innovation Summit. It totally flips the script. You know, we love to celebrate the genius founder, right? The one with the brilliant idea. But what the founders, and interestingly the athletes at this event, kept saying was, it's not about being the most gifted. Nope. The ones who win are the ones who are the most coachable, the ones who can actually listen, take feedback, and, change things up. All right, section 1, the founder's starting line. But look, before anyone can even think about coaching you, you gotta be willing to step onto the field. And that all starts with getting one crucial difference straight in your head. I mean, we all have ideas, don't we? You're in the shower, bam, idea. Driving to work, boom, another one. But let's be real. How many of those actually become anything? Anything that really changes the game? So what's the magic step? What takes you from just a thought to something real you can hold in your hand? And there it is. This is the first hurdle. It has nothing to do with how good the idea is. It's all about whether you have the guts, the sheer grit to go build it anyway, even when everyone, and I mean everyone, is telling you you're crazy. That toughness, that's the foundation for literally everything else, including being coachable. So moving on to section 2, lessons from elite athletes. Okay, so you've got the grit to start. But how do you keep that fire burning? How do you sustain it? Well, to figure that out, the summit looked to a place where being coachable isn't just some nice-to-have skill. It's the absolute cost of admission. We're talking about elite sports. The big idea here is simple but powerful. The ultimate advantage for a founder isn't just a great idea. It's having the discipline of an elite athlete. Think about it. An athlete obsesses over game tape, looking for every tiny flaw, every little edge. A founder needs to do the exact same thing, but with their own performance and their business. And this isn't just some theory, right? This advice is coming from people who have actually walked the walk. On the one hand, you've got Jermaine Anugwam, a robotic CEO who is also a pro MMA fighter. Talk about discipline. And on the other, Fred Robbins, a Super Bowl champion. These guys know firsthand what it means to take that hardcore athletic mindset and plug it right into running a company. And this is where Fred Robbins says something really, really important. Being coachable isn't just, hey, tell me what I'm doing wrong. It's also about letting a coach see something great in you that maybe you don't even see yourself. He said his coach saw his leadership quality, but he just wasn't consistent with it. The coaching helped him turn that spark into a steady flame. That's the magic of getting that outside view. So let's nail down what we mean by coachability. This is not some fluffy, soft skill, okay? It is a strategic asset. It's about having the humility and discipline to check your ego at the door, to actually go looking for feedback and to relentlessly pursue getting better. It's a mindset. Okay, on to section 3, getting your house in order. So you've got the mindset down. You're ready to be coached. Awesome. But that's all in your head. Now, how do you take that same athletic discipline and apply it to the actual nuts and bolts of your business? Well, it all starts with getting your house in order. Seriously, think about it for a second. For most new founders, where does all the really important stuff about the business actually live? The sales process, the customer secrets, the roadmap. It's all just in their head. And let me tell you, that is not a feature, that is a massive, massive risk. This is where being coachable pays off. Someone tells you, hey, this isn't going to scale, and you actually listen. You take that discipline and you start getting all that genius out of your head and into a system. We're talking mapping your workflows, actually writing down your standard operating procedures, your SOPs, and getting a clear list of your tech stack. Basically documenting how the business actually works.
And listen, this might be the most important line of the whole explainer. You cannot automate what you do not understand. Everybody's excited about AI, about automation, but you can't just sprinkle AI on top of chaos and expect magic. You have to get clear on your process first.
And this isn't just a theory. Dr. Valencia Bell, an EdTech CEO, she put it perfectly. She said, look, if your MVP and your proof of concept aren't solid, when it's time to scale with AI, you're just going to find a world of pain. Basically, AI will just shine a giant spotlight on all the cracks you didn't fix. Which brings us perfectly to our next section. Section 4, AI is an amplifier, not magic. We've covered the mindset, we've covered the process, now let's talk tech. Because the whole key is to stop thinking of AI as some kind of magic wand and start seeing it for what it is, a massively powerful amplifier. And this is the fork in the road. So many people make a huge mistake here. They try to use AI to fix a broken business. It doesn't work. The mature approach, the coachable founders approach, is to use AI to scale a proven business. You build the solid foundation first, and then you use AI to pour gasoline on that fire. I love this quote. AI did not create the business. AI unlocked the business. It really says it all. AI is an amplifier. If your business is well run, AI will make it incredible. If your business is a mess, well, AI is just going to help you make a bigger mess faster. And you want to see the proof? Look at these numbers from Dr. Bell's company. After she got her house in order, after she built that solid foundation and then brought in AI, sales went from $122,000 to over $1 million. That's not magic. That's what happens when discipline meets the right technology. So let's just put a bow on this. AI is not a substitute for founder operating discipline. It's an amplifier of your system's quality. Plain and simple. The results you get from AI will only ever be as good as the business you feed into it. All right, final section, a new model for founders. So what's the takeaway here for you? How do you put all this together? Let's break it down into a really clear, actionable model for how to build a company in this new age of AI. Okay, here's the roadmap. We're calling it the founder maturity model. And the order here is absolutely critical. It all starts at stage 1, coachability and discipline. That's the internal work. Once you have that, you can move to stage 2, operational clarity, getting everything out of your head and into a system. From that solid base, you're ready for stage 3, real innovation and invention. And only then, at the very end, do you get to stage 4, AI native scale. You cannot skip the line. It doesn't work. And that really brings us to the final question, the one that matters most. The AI we have today is, well, it's ready to be coached. It's waiting for your direction, your expertise, your documented processes. It is ready to amplify whatever you give it. So the only question left is, are you?
Okay, so what did you think about what you missed?
I enjoyed it. I really did. It touched on a lot of things, just it touched about, being consistent,
Discipline, yeah.
with AI, and it says that the AI is it unlocks it for you.
Yes, that's exactly right.
And so that was my takeaway from it. But you if you consistent at it, then it'll benefit you in the long run. As far as you taking advantage of the tools that is what it's saying, that the AI is giving you all the tools. It's up to you to take advantage of it.
That's exactly right. So have you noticed any improvement, since you started leveraging that Lanika prompt?
Well,
Or Notebook LM, either one of them,
Notebook LM, the Lenitra prompt. You still haven't told me what the Lenitra prompt. Where did the concept came from? But
Okay, yeah, I can explain that to you.
but
Yeah, we actually had Lanika in the last session. I think you said you had the lead before. She was on the prompting panel, and uh, so I'll reiterate it and I'll share the document where if you haven't created your own Lanika prompt. Let me put the link to the document in the chat right now. I think I still got, yeah. And Carmen, Carlos asked about the videos. We're going to show a couple more of the videos. So this particular video is definitely available on YouTube. And if you're looking at us on StreamYard, you can always go back to that StreamYard link and actually view it. But yeah, so our YouTube channel is kakuainstitute.org, and then our Facebook is Startup on the Block. So this is our Facebook page. So this particular link, and I'll share my screen so you can kind of see, but I'll continue on to tell you how I discovered the Lanika prompt. And so basically, Lanika is one of our founders, and we were in a workshop last October for a demand validation, and the demand validation is part of the startup process you have to go through if you want to build a successful startup, and it's a framework. So the demand validation, you have to the challenge I was having, you have to go out and interview people who have recently purchased something similar to what you're building in your company. And so folks were having trouble going out, interviewing people, but I thought, they didn't realize how significant and what the information they could actually get from doing this, based on the customer forces and stuff. And so I asked them, they had already used the AI to simulate their business model. So in the 30-day the business model design class. And so in the second workshop, it was time for them to start going out and interviewing people. And so, but they didn't know what they were going to get. So with AI, you can actually simulate what you're going to get. And so I asked them to go out and in their chat thing, ChatGPT or whatever they were using, I asked them to put this prompt in there. So for all my customer segment, what are the customer forces for each customer segment, and what are the jobs to be done for each customer segment, and what is the hiring and firing criteria for that? And so they did that, and each founder showed me their results, and this was all online. And so then the next step I asked them to do was to the next step you have to do in the demand validation is design your solution. And when you design your solution, you do it through a 5P matrix. And this solution could be software, or it could be how you service your customer, it could be hardware. It's just whatever your business solution is. And so when I asked the founders to do that, so I had them show me what they had. And so the first couple of founders showed me what they had. And then when I got to Lanika, her results looked at like a product requirements document. So when you're building software or something, you have to create a product requirements document. So I asked her, I said, how did you get it to do that? Because none of the other founders did that. And so it didn't look like that. And so I was like really shocked. So I asked her to explain to me, how did she come up with that? And so she just explained to me how she prompts and how she's so analytical, and she triple checked, double checked everything. And so So the next day after the workshop, I downloaded the transcript. So I record the video, but download the transcript. So I just literally post the transcript in ChatGPT, and the first thing I did was I said, what is Lanika's method of prompting? And it spit out her method of prompting. And then the next step I did, I said, because I had a prompt that I used for analyzing transcripts and articles, videos, and it was basically what are the key takeaways, what are the insights, and what actions should I take based off those insights. So then I told ChatGPT to upgrade that prompt to using the Lanika's method, and my whole life changed, from using AI, because once I started analyzing documents with that, it would always help me understand what I needed to do next. And in some cases was actually even building software. It was writing prompts for me, because it knew what I needed to do to get to the next step. Right. And so that's kind of how I got started. And with it, then the next thing I did was I had a prompt for doing business model design. And by the way, I tell people I never took a prompting class, so I just went over to Claude Developer thing and told it about the business model design framework and asked it to create a prompt for that. And so it did, and I started giving that to the founders so they can simulate the business model design process. But then I told ChatGPT, please upgrade my business model design prompt to using the Lanika method. And then it just got more thorough. It went out and got all the marketing data. I mean, it was literally crazy. It was really fantastic. And eventually, I just upgraded the prompt to include the whole business model design, demand validation, and marketing thing. So that's to model the whole thing. And so literally this particular, as a result of using this prompt, it has literally changed the way I analyze everything. YouTube videos, it'll extract anything you want out of the YouTube videos. It'll extract workflows out of the YouTube videos. It'll extract skills out of the YouTube videos. It'll analyze a website and get all the patterns out of the website. And believe it or not, it gets to the point where it literally reverses engineer stuff. It's that powerful. So Rose says she just ran her Lanitra prompt. So when you run the Lanitra prompt, in the thing, it's going to print out a report, and then within that report is going to be your Lanitra prompt. And then so what I tell people to do is put that whole Lanitra prompt. You just have to and I'll show you here. I was doing this a couple of weeks ago, and I ran it, but what the Lanika prompt does, it starts off with, based on your entire prompting history, please run the following framework, and that's the Lanitra method. And so, and it scours your whole prompting history, and it literally finds out what you're interested in, what your goals are, because these large language models, they actually know based on what you ask about, they know what you're trying to do. So it's like it creates a second brain. So now when you use that Lanika prompt to analyze stuff, it's going to find the patterns in what you're analyzing to see how it helps you reach your goal. And it gets all the visible patterns, it gets all the hidden patterns. It analyzes the what out of everything. And so I can talk forever about that. But Rose, that's what you need to do, is get that prompt out of there. But like Jamad said, what I tell people to put it in the results in Notebook LM, and that way it can reflect back to you. So you will know what it'll reflect your second brain back to you. Is what the deal is. Now, the other part of this, so like I was working with a founder yesterday, and she didn't have a prompting history. She was letting one of her business partners or employees prompt for her, so she didn't have a prompting history. So what I had her do is do this particular thing to create her Leanica prompt. So she had a bunch of documents already about her business. I think it was about 6 of them. So we just uploaded all those 6 documents to ChatGPT and said, and we copied and pasted, did a Control A, copied that, and then Control C to copy it. And then we paste that into ChatGPT, Gemini, whatever. And then at the beginning of that, just before this, so you normally would just paste your information in here. But for her, I just said, based on the attached documents, please run this prompt right here. And then those documents were all about her business. And so when she ran that Leanica prompt, it spit it out all the stuff that her business was about. So now when she analyzed things, it's going to see what's, the relationship
right
to her business to help her get to her goals. Yeah. So that's kind of what the significance of it. But what doing it is believing it. And what I tell people, it'll stop the ChatGPT from lying to you, Gemini from lying to you, Claude from lying to you, because these things are designed to tell you what you want to hear. So by analyzing, the stuff, and it's really amazing. And so, yeah, how would you like to have your AI automatically do stuff for you? That's what it literally takes you to your goal, what your objectives are in life. And because it's trying to emulate your brain. When you set your mind to do something, your brain helps you figure out a way to get there. And that's what the Leanica prompt does. So does that make sense, Jamar?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Let's see. I'll show you all what I did to create that. I'm going to show you a couple other videos, but let me bring let me reduce this a little bit and see more of it. So this is Notebook LM, and if you got a Gmail account, you have Notebook LM. Yeah, I was actually earlier. It was on Tuesday. I had 9 people from Africa and teaching them about how to design business models here at the Kukui Institute. And they were from like 8 different countries. And they had, I think only the translator had heard about Notebook LM. And so I had them, just type in Notebook LM in their browser. And so you see over here, you can upload sources. And basically these are all the sources over here, and these are all the documents. So I had, but the videos you'll see tonight, I uploaded. So I uploaded this one was uploaded to Agenda, so that's what that. Then all the stuff from my Leanica prompt, where I analyzed all the transcripts that I had from the summit, and so I just picked up ones from the summit. So you can see, you can just check out the ones that were the transcript, and then also the ones that you use ChatGPT in your Leanica prompt to analyze it. So this next video I'll show you, it was based on all the recorded transcripts except for 2 of them and the agenda. And this is a cinematic video. I showed it at the lead-in, but let me see if I can find it again. So let's see here.
For many students, high test scores are the only path to a debt-free college education. Dr. Valencia Bell recognized that underserved communities were largely locked out of this opportunity because they lacked access to effective test prep. Fixing that gap became her foundational mission. But a passionate insight eventually hits the wall of reality. Clients have questions you didn't anticipate, and early results might be uneven. To survive these setbacks, a founder has to suppress the urge to be right and instead develop the discipline of coachability, the ability to take harsh feedback and use it to refine the mechanics of the work. Every scalable business moves through a 3-stage evolution: identifying an insight, building a manual MVP, and creating a tech system. Without humility, a founder's original vision will never survive the refinements required to become a functional system. To prove her concept actually worked, Dr. Bell entered Phase 1, the manual service. She hired a team of 1,099 contract teachers to deliver test prep strictly one-to-one, putting in the grueling, hands-on work to guarantee her students saw real score improvements. Mission-driven founders often worry that charging for their services compromises their values. However, Dr. Bell had to generate revenue to keep her teachers paid and the lights on. Financial sustainability is what keeps a mission alive long enough to grow. While that manual process produced high-impact results, it eventually hit a hard mathematical wall. You can only work so many hours, and you can only hire so many people before your overhead consumes your impact. Building a manual MVP is a mandatory step to prove market demand, but relying entirely on pure physical labor will eventually choke the scale of the mission. When founders hit that capacity wall, they often look for a technological shortcut. The immediate temptation is to buy an AI tool and hope it magically handles the overflow. Adding technology doesn't fix a business's underlying logic, it amplifies it. If your workflow is an undocumented tangle, an AI tool simply executes that chaos faster. Before applying technology, you must extract the process from your head into a strict, logical sequence on paper. Pause the video right here. Identify the exact gap you want to solve and write down the 3 manual steps to deliver that service. That strict process mapping is the essential operational bridge. It is the single requirement that makes a manual business eligible for technological scale. Once the workflow is entirely codified and proven, you are ready to integrate the tech system. For Dr. Bell, this meant deploying AI to automatically handle customer intake. She then used digital avatars to translate her proven test prep methodology into multiple languages, reaching students across the globe completely simultaneously. AI removed the geographic and linguistic friction from a methodology that had already been validated. The business model remained the same. The technology simply enabled it to cross borders. As a technical system begins to handle the volume, the founder faces a specific structural shift. To manage a system at scale, you have to stop doing the manual execution and redesign your organization to include dedicated technical and operational management roles. Achieving true scale requires the humility to let go of the very manual job you created in the first place. Dr. Bell started by recognizing a specific gap in her local community. Today, she operates a globally scalable, sustainable career. She followed an exact progression: anchor the mission, stay coachable to defeat your ego, monetize a manual MVP, map the process rigidly, and finally, scale with technology. Durable scaling depends on mastering the operational discipline of every stage. AI is the reward for the work that happens long before the first line of code is ever written.
Fantastic, fantastic. So basically, that particular video, it was based on all the transcripts from the conference, the summit, and the agenda, and so it used some of Rose's presentation. It used Rosa just. It used some of the coaching panels stuff, and so it just explained that. So the takeaway, and Jamad, I know you're not a founder, but just learning about so learning about this stuff now, if you ever get an idea and you want to build it, at least you'll be familiar with the process. You won't be starting from scratch. Most people wait till you're ready to do something to start trying to learn. But you have to be aware of what's going on around you, so you will know how to take advantage of it when the opportunity comes for you. But in Dr. Bell's case, So there's still a lot of things she may or may not know because she's non-tech. She's brilliant, and smart. And being a founder, it's not about being smart. It's about knowing the process and all of the things. And she said in her presentation, she was on her third set of developers or coders to build her application.
All right.
Third. And that's pretty common because when you don't know what you actually need, and the only way you learn what you need, you can't wait till you need it. You have to, start networking and talking to other founders. And so you can know what they did to overcome some of these challenges. But when we first started this program back in August of 2020, we call it Startup Founder Best Practices because you have to learn the best practices. And everywhere I used to go as a founder, they would always, on Thursday night, they would always have an in-person or something, for founders to kind of learn more about being a founder. And so you have to learn the playbook. But believe it or not, the playbook has changed since August of 2020. So there was AI being used back in August of 2020, but now the large language models had enabled a lot more things because they're about language. And so, but what I loved about Dr. Bell's presentation was she leveraged the ecosystem through pitch competitions, et cetera, to earn about $200,000. So to fund her startup journey. Most people want to start trying to build something from day one and try to raise money to do that. That's totally illogical. She did her process manually first, to prove that it worked. And then you go out and once you ready to scale, you recruit some co-founders that you don't have to pay anything, but you just give them a little equity. People just got this idea that you have to have money from day one, and what you need is connections to the stuff you need, in lieu of money to kind of get you where you want to go. It's just your imagination, when you say I have to have money to do what I'm doing. Yeah, you have to have. You can get money, but the way you get it is learning how to pitch your business model. And most founders are going out pitching their solution, because that's exactly what I did. But the key thing is to pitch your business model, how you make money with your solution, because that's what if somebody's going to help you. That's what they want to know. And the Lean Canvas is the language of the ecosystem. And the Lean Canvas, the Lean Canvas, and the startup ecosystem. So like the first program I applied for was just the idea stage. It was for like it was in Mississippi. It was like Innovate Mississippi, which is still going on today. They were doing a pitch competition, and it was, you could win $3,000 or something. But anyway, so I entered the pitch competition, and they assigned me a mentor to help me prepare for the pitch competition. So when I went to do the pitch competition, I failed miserably. But then they sent me a spreadsheet where the judges explained everything I did wrong. You see what I'm saying? You get feedback. You get feedback, and participated in another pitch thing, but it didn't give any money. But by participating in that one, which was the following day actually, here in Pensacola, and got connected with some investors that wanted to kind of advise me and give me some direction. But as a result of doing that, I got recommended to another program that my company got $25,000. But the irony of that was I hadn't even formed a company. It was just an idea. But so as a result of getting into that, in order to receive the $25,000, I had to form the company and create a bank account. And that was a year and a few months after I got the idea and started pitching it. You see what I'm saying? So you leverage the ecosystem. So I won another over another 100,000 that I, debt free just from pitching and working pilots, in Poland and in London, and so just through the ecosystem. And what people don't understand is I didn't have to pay for any of that stuff. And that money that Dr. Bell won, that 200,000, she didn't have to pay for any of it.
Wow.
You see what I'm saying? And so my question to, it's all right to do, and this is good for people who have traditional business. They just have to look for problems within their business that they can build a solution that can go around. So the startup ecosystem works with you where you are. So if you're out there thinking the first thing I need to do is go get money, you need to learn how to pitch your ideas so you can recruit co-founders, you can get mentors, you can get into programs that give you money, but it's all based on the startup founder playbook. You have to know what the best practices are. The Black Innovation Leaders of Florida, we were doing a workshop down in St. Pete, and so the founder said, I got a great idea, and it's going to make a lot of money, and I need money to start building it. Dr. Bell now has $1 million company and revenue, and she didn't have the software to she did it manually. She went to Google Classroom, and now she's building out her platform. So you can think all you want, but you need to learn the best practices for building a startup. And that goes for anything. There's a method to do it, and people want to skip the process. But what we do, you see this stuff on here. We dump all our stuff here in the Notebook LM, and then generate all these assets over here. So I even generated stuff before we got to the conference. So you look at all the videos, the presentation, the audio podcast, the infographics. This is what I created an hour ago. Let's just take a look at it. And what the summit revealed. So I just, this one, the title of this thing was what the summit revealed. So I went in and changed the prompt in the infographic to let's see what this thing says. Coachability. The first session, AI readiness rose, and the AI native standard. So, having an AI native solution for your founders. So, validate before velocity, AI as a revenue multiplier. Funding follows infrastructure. So once you have that infrastructure set up, you can go forward. Traditional small businesses, automation, scaling, methodology, AI native companies. You see the difference between this automation here and this automation here, scaling. Yeah, and so literally. But what I'm telling you all with that Lanika prompt. If the AI understands what you're trying to do, it will take you through this whole process. And for example, I've completed a requirements document for what's called the Founders Insight OS, and the AI, created the the product requirements document. It created the corresponding engineering specification. And so the next step for me, since I want it to be an enterprise app, I'm going to go to one of the vibe coding tools that's for enterprise app, and that's Factory.ai. And let's say I'm not a coder, so I can upload that requirements document and I can tell it, to start building based on this requirements document. And that requirements document has all the AI guardrail requirements in it. It has all the SOC 2 requirements in it. And I didn't write any of it. I based on what I've been prompting about it knew the problems I was having teaching the founders. So it incorporated all those things to help move the thing, because I'm using the Nietzsche prompt.
Right.
Yeah. And yeah, so that's kind of what the deal is. So when you get our Founders Insight program, that you get access to all the tools to simulate your business model. And what we found so far with the simulation of your business model, with that business model design, demand validation prompt, and the marketing thing, the first time I ran that prompt, when it got to the marketing part, it literally, based on the way I was prompting, it actually offered to create my logo based on what happened. It offered to create the landing page based on that model. And we literally have found that I was actually going out and doing the work, that business model design, demand validation, and marketing thing. It's literally running pretty close to what somebody did if they actually went out and did the stuff manually. So, yeah. But yeah, so that's the fascination with Notebook LM, because you can do these reports. So let's just, I'm going to show another video real quick. So let me see. We did our coachable. Let's look at this thing called the new founder playbook here. Let me get my cursor in the right place here. I'm all confused because
not too long ago, a bunch of founders, investors, and tech folks got together. But it wasn't just another conference. The Founders Innovation Summit was something different. It was like getting a sneak peek at a new blueprint for building companies that actually last. So today, let's break down what this new founder operating system looks like, especially now in the age of AI. This is the big question, right? It's what every founder is trying to figure out. Is the secret sauce having the latest AI tools? Is it about raising the most money? Or just creating the most hype? Well, the answer that came out of the summit was actually something else entirely. Yeah, the biggest takeaway wasn't some magic app or secret growth hack. It was a repeatable process, a whole new mindset, almost like a founder operating system that can guide you from day one all the way to massive scale. And like any good OS, it all starts with the hardware, the founder themselves. So where do you even start? Right here. Before you can build a great company, you have to build the builder. The first and honestly the most important lesson from the summit was this. It all begins with your internal mindset. It's the foundation for everything else. And this guy, Jermaine Ottaguam, perfectly embodies this idea. Get this. Before he founded a defense robotics company, he was a professional MMA and Muay Thai fighter. Seriously. His journey from the discipline of the fighting ring to the pressure cooker of a startup really set the tone for the whole event. And this question, which was posed at the summit, just cuts right through all the noise. Think about it. Do elite athletes get to the top because they think they know everything? No way. They get there because they're relentlessly, obsessively coachable. So what does that actually look like for a founder? Well, it's choosing discipline over chasing the latest hype. It's having the humility to take tough feedback without getting defensive. It's about keeping your ego in check when the pressure is on, always putting the team first, and just consistently showing up prepared, day in, day out. This is the real infrastructure of success. Okay, so you've got that foundational mindset locked in. The next step is all about preparation. Because here's the thing, before you can just plug in some powerful AI tool and expect magic, you've got to get your own house in order first. This might have been one of the most powerful lines from the entire summit. I'll say it again. Don't automate confusion. If your internal processes are a mess and your data is a disaster, AI isn't going to fix it. It's just going to help you make mistakes faster. You have to get clear before you automate. So how do you actually do that? Well, thanks to experts like Rose Logiste, who spoke at the summit, the path is pretty clear. First, you have to map out your workflows. Get all those steps out of your head and onto paper, where everyone can see them. Then, structure your data so an AI can actually make sense of it. Pinpoint the exact bottlenecks you're trying to fix. And finally, document everything. Create clear, simple SOPs. It's not glamorous, but it's absolutely essential. All right, mindset is solid, the business is prepped and organized. Now comes the really exciting part, the creative spark. This is where you turn a real, validated customer need into a protected, defensible innovation. And this isn't just about having a cool idea pop into your head. It's a disciplined process. We saw an incredible example of this with Dr. Jessica Griffin. She walked everyone through her journey of turning a concept into an actual patented technology, basically giving a masterclass for anyone else trying to do the same. And her path really highlights these crucial steps. It all starts with you believing in your idea before anyone else does. Then you got to partner strategically to fill in the skills you don't have. And this is huge. Protect your intellectual property. Along the way, you have to learn to tune out the naysayers and just stay laser focused on solving the problem. And this quote from Dr. Griffin just sums it all up, doesn't it? Innovation isn't some lightning bolt of genius. It's the grit, it's the sheer perseverance to keep building even when everyone tells you it's impossible. That's what turns a thought into something that can change the world. Okay, so we've covered mindset, preparation, and invention. Now we can finally talk about AI. But the summit framed it in a very specific way, not as a magic wand, but as an amplifier, a tool for pure leverage. And this distinction is so important. Invention, like we saw with Dr. Griffin, is about creating new value where there was none before. Amplification, on the other hand, is about taking something that you already know works and using AI to scale it to the moon. And we saw a perfect example of this. Meet Dr. Valencia Bell. Her company, Schools, is amazing. It helps students get access to scholarships and academic opportunities. She shared this incredible case study of how her already successful, mission-driven company transformed by going all in and becoming AI native. And the results? I mean, just look at this number. $350 million. That's how much students have earned in scholarships using her platform. This isn't some theoretical concept. It's a massive life-changing impact powered by AI amplification. But listen, here is the single most important lesson from her story, and maybe from the entire summit. AI did not create her business. She already had a model that worked, that delivered real value. AI was the key that unlocked its potential for exponential growth. AI was the force multiplier, not the founder. Okay, let's zoom out for a minute. This summit wasn't just about one founder's journey. It was about building the whole environment, the whole community, where thousands of founders like these can actually succeed. It was about building an ecosystem. And that's what made this event so different. It was designed to be an ecosystem assembly engine. Its whole purpose was to get founders seen, to help them build real relationships with partners and investors, to connect the public and private sectors, and just to make this whole intimidating world of innovation easier to understand and access for everybody. And what's really profound is that this work is a kind of ecosystem correction. In a world where opportunities haven't always been distributed fairly, this summit is intentionally building the infrastructure to support and elevate Black-led innovation, making sure the future of tech includes everyone. So there you have it. The founder operating system, laid out plain and simple. It's a clear, logical path. It all starts with that coachable mindset. Then comes the diligent preparation. That leads to the spark of disciplined invention. And only then do you pour fuel on the fire with intelligent amplification. Because in the end, the biggest lesson of all is that no one does this alone. No founder, no matter how brilliant, succeeds in a vacuum. Innovation is, and always will be, a team sport. Which really leaves us all with one final question to think about. Who's on your team?
Yeah, and the way you recruit people on your team, you have to convince them through pitching your business model to them that you can make money with your idea, and so that's what's that all about. So I think for you, Jamad, not being a founder and experiencing that. So if ever you decide to become a founder, or if you know somebody that's interested in being a founder, you already know where to tell them to go, right?
Right. Tell them to come Kakua Institute.
To get at our Founders Insight. Insight program. Yeah, that was one thing that was amazing about the summit. We had, I can honestly tell you, about 75% of the people that were there, I had never even met before, and they heard about it through our partners and our sponsors, and uh, and so it was really fantastic. And this one gentleman I met, he said, he has a business idea and he wants to get started with it. So he was literally shocked when I said, "Did you pay anything to come here?" He said, "No." And the reason why he didn't have to pay anything, because sponsors like the Quentin Rishi Studer, they paid for like 25 tickets. The uh, Renaissance Bank paid for like 25 tickets. Um, my buddy Ron uh, Moore over in St. Louis, he couldn't come this year for the first time. He was the one that got me started. He purchased 10 tickets for founders. Clark Partington Law Firm purchased five tickets. So you see what I'm saying, that they they want to help people grow, founders grow, and to kind of move forward. But I think, Jamad, from your perspective, if you ever did get an idea, you would kind of get an idea what the process is based on your experience over the weekend, right?
Right.
Yeah. So yeah. So keep analyzing those transcripts, and
Yeah.
yeah. And so I'll repeat the process for the video that I showed you on tonight. So I took the transcripts. I didn't read any of the transcripts, and I pasted them into Chat GPT. I could have pasted them into Gemini. I could have pasted them into Claude. I could have pasted them in the chat. I could have placed them in Perplexity. Um, and then the prompt, my new Lanicha prompt that I created right live here on stage 3 weeks ago. Because when I created my prompt, I didn't do it based on my prompting history. I did based on what the prompts I was doing. But when I actually was showing you all how to create your prompt, and so I just paste that prompt in my ChatGPT, and I was blown away of all the stuff that I'm missing. You know, I was missing in my Lanika prompt, because my original Lanika prompt was back in October. Now here it is, beginning of April, and now this thing's billing me a Lanika prompt based on all the stuff that I've been doing, since last October. And I will honestly tell you all, it is literally unbelievable. And so that's why I get frustrated. People want to learn how to use AI, and I never took a prompting class. I just I know that the large language model can map anything to anything. I know it can deconstruct any problem I give it, and so I had to do something. I'm trying to think. I had a like an 8-hour transcript, and it was a lot of different conversations. And so I didn't just go run my Lanika prompt. I literally I pasted a prompt in the chat thing, and I asked ChatGPT what's the best approach to analyze this document, and guess what it did? It understood how it reviewed the transcript, so it understood how complicated it was, and it literally created a new prompt and a framework for prompting to actually analyze the transcript with the Lanika method inside of it. So literally just that session, it created 5 or 6 new prompts that I could run in Claude, could put in Notebook LM, and it did that automatically because it knows I use those tools. Because I literally tell us I need something that will run in Claude. I need to create an agent in Gemini. I don't know how to do that.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah. So, but if you don't know what AI is and the power of it, and the simplicity of what it is, it's trying to act like your brain does. Once you decide you want something, your brain leads you to it, and that's what just the Lunica prompt. When you create it, it knows about what you're interested in. And so one thing I want to tell people too that happened yesterday. So the founder that I was working with on her business model design prompt. So typically, I would just put 1 or 2 industries in there for her solution, but she knew her solution was in multiple industries. So she put 6, 7, 8 industries in there because she knew her thing applied to that. And so this thing, the first thing it does, it goes out and finds all the stakeholders in each industry and all the pain points. So it literally took care of all that for her. And so we ran that same prompt in ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, Claude, and LeChat, just so we could get a variety, because each one does it differently. And then we dump that in the Notebook LM, and so it can kind of reflect that back to it. And then, like, with the neat part about that, I like the podcast, because you can literally talk to the podcast and move forward.
Right.
Yeah. So I'm trying to encourage you and other founders, Jamal, like individuals. You don't have to be a founder to do this. It does, because in your case, you trying to plan out a cybersecurity career, and so all the prompts that so this is another example of how the Lanicha prompt works. So when you and your mother came in, I recorded the conversation and explained, we talked and I got to know you and everything. And so for the result of that, analyzing that with the Lanika prompt, I've been able to help you move further towards what your goal is, right?
Right.
Yeah. So, and believe it or not, I didn't have to create any prompts. I just used the Lanika thing, and then everything went from there. And I had another gentleman come in that was 16, and it based on that Lanika prompt, it understood what was going on, and it created a framework for relating your ancestry, to help for that. It's just really powerful. Yeah. All righty. So I'm all excited, and it's been between the summit, and I definitely want to give a shout out to everybody that helped out. Wife Robin, my son Lloyd Jr., Eric Dozier. He and I went back there doing the video production and streaming, and all the volunteers that helped with the reception and helped with the event on Saturday. It was just literally amazing. All the politicians that came in to support the event, all the sponsors that put time in, and so it's literally amazing. And like Dr. Bell, I guess she was definitely a hit because she called me yesterday and the day before and said people are just bugging her like crazy, and she's like willing to help them. And some of the speakers, they say, well, I want to create a business around what we talked about. And it was very, very, very powerful. Yeah. All right. So I hope you get some inspiration out of that, Jamad, and keep using that. I'm curious to see if your Lanisha thing, when you analyze those transcripts, did it relate any of this stuff to cybersecurity at all? Did you notice?
Well, it did. It it gives you a lot of information that that you have to keep up with.
Okay.
If you don't keep up with, then it kind of just goes out the window.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you got anything else that we didn't talk about that you want to share with audience before we sign off?
Um, well, no, I think that's about it.
Okay.
You know, yeah,
Fantastic. Yeah, it's so in your case, Jamal, I think what you're going to find as you explore your career thing here, you know, getting this good foundation on using the AI to help you plan out your career, you're going to probably, because I think one of the career things that told you that, you know, was, you know, had to do with AI. And so like once you, the more you use that little Nietzsche prompt, you're going to better understand how AI works. And, and,
right,
and, and then before you know it, you're going to say, well, um, I can, you know, do all this stuff with AI, and I can start making money, you know, and you know, and create your own job there and stuff like that. So that's pretty exciting. Yeah. So
yes.
thank all the folks out in the audience. We appreciate you tuning in. We'll see you next week, and we got some exciting things for it. So I apologize, I haven't sent out your all's prompt package yet for those that do it. The AI has it identifies so many prompts that I got to go back and double check to make sure they're not giving y'all my proprietary information. But you will get your prompt package based on you registering for the event. And if you didn't register the event, the link is still active, so you can still go out there and register even though the event is over with. And I'll make sure you get the prompt package and also access to the videos and stuff like that, because we just want people to move forward and be successful. And I'm looking forward to the future and all the things that you know, leveraging the AI to kind of move forward. I thank you for being there with me, Jamal, and inspiring me to keep moving forward and everything. So you take
I enjoyed this meeting today.
okay, okay,
Really, yeah.
yep. And God bless you. You keep moving
God
forward.
bless you too.
All right, we'll see you all at the. So y'all take care.